Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Speaking of sex tapes, in Fallout 4, players can romance their companions. There will be 12 companions in this game. They confirmed during QuakeCon during a gameplay demo.
By the way, that headline, I misread that. I thought it said Fallout 4 players car romance companions, and I thought you could only have
You do it in a car.
In weird
I thought
old
they
cars.
said China lifting 15-year-old barn on consoles.
That's where they've been
It's
all
like, wow, 2 wrestling stories. China sure is strong.
Yeah, so you can
old barn.
you can do the sexing with up to 12.
No.
Different?
So that's the thing. There will be 12 companions in the game.
Yeah.
Separately, you can romance those companions regardless of the gender that you play as. But they confirmed that dog meat in Codsworth, which is a dog and a
I can't
robot.
have sex with dog meat.
You cannot have sex with a dog or a robot.
We sort of, as you can tell by these cool props, which are paper that we print out, we sort of plan this show sometimes, and I like the bullet points here a lot. It says, Fallout 4 players can romance companions, and it's a link to the article.
I'm already ready.
First bullet point, can you the dog?
And then I wrote no.
And then the second bullet point after no is this game. And then the follow-up bullet point is, can you the robot, which I'm assuming is Marty spelling how he pronounces robot.
I read that as Robert.
Robert.
Yeah.
And then it's no. Another bullet point. I'm okay with that. And then the third bullet point is that's bull. You could a robot in New Vegas, which you totally could. I don't know why they're removing features from a game. It's weird.
So I'm curious about what's his name? Fox in Fallout 3 is like your
Do I have to
super
censor
mutant.
that?
I think you're good. Your super mutant friend, your companion. What is a super mutant? Like, does that count as human? Like, can I a super mutant?
God damn it.
I hope there's an achievement called Fox on the first date.
But all seriously, I think it's really interesting. I think stuff like like Dragon Age and The Witcher and all these things that add these sort of like romance and dating components,
Yeah.
I think are received really well, and I think it adds.
Yeah.
It's the same reason I like Persona games. I think it's really interesting when you add this extra level of companionship with somebody that goes beyond simply just being
Beyond.
Beyond.
that goes further than just being friends or a silent guy in battle. And I especially think it's interesting because in this game and in the gameplay demo they showed at QuakeCon, like you talk. The protagonist talks this time around. So they talked about like during one of the areas they go into, like you walk in and you kill a guy and then you're like, dog meat, go investigate. And then the dog runs off. And it's like that idea that like you are not just an avatar for the player, but you are playing as a person.
Yeah.
And so I think adding romance to that and kind of supports that, and it gives you like an identity.
It's nice.
Well, also,
Like-
I mean, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I also, like, all of us are in this room because people had sex. None of us in this room have ever killed anybody. But in video games, it's like a weird
Making a lot of
novelty when
assumptions.
you can have sex, and
Yeah.
meanwhile, we are all just like mass murderers in
Yeah.
terms of games,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't know, such a bizarre like,
Disparity.
yeah, it's really,
America.
It's really weird, and it's like we completely take it for granted. We're like, yeah, you know,
No, I could probably count the games that have handled sex in an adult smart way on one hand. Like,
What are you doing with the other hand?
And that was for those of you listening, just the audio. Brian got up and then pelvic thrusted at the camera. So, oh boy.
As it was coming out of my mouth, I'm like, I really hope one of you guys just doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you're talking about handling things in an adult, mature way. Highly recommended if you are
Handle
interested.
things in a mature way.
Beyond.
If you are
I'm wearing a
interested
suit too.
in how games handle romance if you're interested in how games handle romance and dating and all those things, I highly recommend Amanda Cosmos. She writes a lot of really interesting things about this. She has a blog specifically about it. It's written a bunch of stuff for Polygon, I think Kotaku, I want to say, but yeah, she is like super into dating sims and what they
Yeah,
mean.
like a lot of smaller games can handle it well, like ones that are like Itch.io games or Clash games.
One even like something like Hatful Boyfriend is really interesting
No,
because
totally.
like that somehow like the pure dating sims are allowed to be a lot weirder than a lot of like Western games especially, and it's interesting how that seeps into Western games, especially more and more. Like we talked about The Witcher, we talked about Dragon Age, like those.
Sure.
We're seeing
Yeah,
more
BioWare
of
games,
that.
yeah.
I think
guess
that's
Dragon
really
Age,
interesting. Yeah, Mass Effect.
Yeah, but like stuff like Catherine and even like Persona, like I feel like that handles it better than I don't know most games do.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, I finally played the Final Fantasy 15 demo this weekend, and Marty was there. And man, there's a lot of sexual tension between those fellas.
Yeah. I hope
know.
they
Yeah.
all wake up but in the same tent. Sometimes they wake up shirtless. They
Yeah.
do a lot of grab ass. And I
I
hope
love
those boys.
that-
I hope those boys kiss. At
I
some
love
point.
that they're just like, yeah, you don't have a girl in your party because it would be awkward for the boys. But girls can join the party at some point, and it'll change the dynamics. I'm like,
Yep.
this sounds really interesting.
They're also
Sounds
so
like a
awkward
Zoolander
around.
RPG.
Like when you finally meet Cindy at the end of that demo, they're like so uncomfortable around her. It's like really funny. Actually,
I'm so cool with. I like the idea that Final Fantasy is like in the same way. There's that South Park episode where they're all ninjas and they're like all badass looking, but there's like a bunch of like fourth graders with like toy weapons or whatever.
Yeah.
I like the idea that the Final Fantasy guys are all these like cool looking dudes with awesome hair and they're like driving around in a car, but in reality they're just like, oh, a girl. I don't know what to say.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. Also, they're wearing these weird, like, leather Final Fantasy outfits. And then at the end of that demo, you go to a normal gas station, everyone's wearing jeans and t-shirts. Like, everyone else in the demo looks normal except for them. It's really weird.
Yeah.